What's going on, guys? Blazing here, and today we got another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we attempted plat again, and we did place. We got actually our best placing so far, which was top 200. I am happy with it. The last couple of weeks I haven't been placing due to a lot of bad errors on my part, still trying to pick the right teams. So in this video we're going to go through, I don't have the duo, but I'm going to go through the team that I relied on the most for this plat push. And I'm going to give you guys some suggestions on other champions you could use to replicate this if you so choose to. And share some tips and tricks at the end of the push so you can see exactly the do's and don'ts of this team. So I'm going to go ahead and play my plat push, and I'll be back at the end of it and show you guys the team along with some other champions you can use instead. We placed top 200, and we relied heavily on a bomb team, which is actually counter meta right now, right? For the top like 100, 150, it's all about the Taurus and Marichka, unless you have like a super OP Warlord, Sifi, and maybe Harima team. And if you maybe have a Kaimar, I think that's actually the team that HWZ uses and places fairly well, actually. He's been placing, you know, top 100 to 200, so it's not that you can't do it with that with other teams. But this team is actually counter meta. I I'm a very big fan of this team, especially because it allows me to do quick farms, but it can get you in trouble. And what do I mean? So there's certain teams that if they're built properly and you try to bomb them, it's not going to work, right? So for instance, this team right here, I should have no problem taking this team out because the UDK is built in Stone Skin, so is the Cardinal, and everything else is just going to go bye-bye, right? They're not going to be able to sustain the damage that the bombs are putting out. So that is an easy win. But let's see if we can find another team that maybe would have what I'm looking for here. This may have what we're looking for. So we're looking at the Mithrala here. We're looking to see if the Mithrala is built in immunity, and she's not. So if the Mithrala was built in immunity, right, and went off and cleansed everything, I would be in real big trouble here because I don't have a reset. I don't have another way of trying to get the damage of the bombs back out, right? So that would be a problem for me. This team, let's see if maybe this one is built the right way. And of course not. But again, if Pythion in this team was built with an immunity set, it would not be a 8-second farm. Now, this team can get you to be really overzealous, right? And it's happened to me in the past where I relied on this team quite a bit, not thinking, not picking the right types of comps to go up against. And it basically, not that it didn't get me into plat, but it got me, I think it was like 400th. I'm trying to see if there is another one here that has maybe what we're looking for. You know what? This is actually a team that you would never go up against, right? Assuming that he put his UDK as the one to get the protection from the Necret, that's not a team you'd really want to go up against. Let's try this team again. Let's see, maybe this Mithrala is built in immunity, and yes. So, perfect example right here. This is where you find yourself and get yourself in trouble, right? If we go, we put the bombs on the Mortu Macabre, spread them. Mithrala's going to come in now. Not sure why he had his Lydia go first, but okay. Let's see, that's where Mithrala came in, cleansed, and now we're put in a situation where there's no win for us, right? So you do have to be careful on the team that you pick to go up against. It is a very risky team, especially when you get into plat. I was very fortunate during my plat push not to find any of these teams, but that doesn't mean that you can't counter this type of team, right? There is another build, there is another team that you could use that's sort of similar that you can get the same result out of. So we're going to back out of this. I'm going to go through the builds, and I'm going to go through what my suggestions would be is if you want to try to recreate this team with other champions to maybe either have some fun, or maybe, you know, try to push at least in the lower end of plat. Understand that if you try to push with this team and go too far into plat, you're going to get kicked out unless you have a solid defense, right? Defense is the number one thing when pushing into plat. You can see during my plat defense, I got hit once and I won, and it was this guy right here, okay? So that's big. That's a big key component to pushing plat. So let's go in. Let me show you guys the champions. Let's pull the Tuhanarok and the Arbiter out. All right, so we'll start with the Arbiter. Now, the Arbiter is obviously the fastest champion on the team. She is running in triple speed sets. She's currently at 369 speed. Not really fast, but when you're going up against Ghost second teams, you don't really need them to be that fast, right? 350 should be enough for you to be able to take on any most Ghost second team. You don't really care about anything else. I mean, you do want her to be a little bit tanky, in case, you know, you have like a Mountain King that survives or something, to be able to have her go back in and do some damage, but you don't really need it. Now, we do have her in a double double reaction. That's not needed, right? We just care about speed. The new Righteous set could work for her instead of the speed set if you get the right type of rolls, but now we do have her fully booked. Arbiter is one of those champions, if you're going to use her in arena, you really only use her in a go first team, and you don't really need her booked. I found very early on that I really didn't need my Arbiter book. I think it took me almost a year before I decided to actually book her, because I was just using her for arena, and the team that I was using her for was my Blender comp team. Intimidating presence is what you want to take for her, right? And then masteries, we really just went down just in case we didn't go first. We went down to timely intervention. That way, if somebody took some damage, we could go first afterwards, right? Next, we're gonna go over the Tuhana Rocks. So, Tuhana Rock can be replaced by other champions. Vizier comes to mind, and then there's also an epic. Where is the epic? I think it's Harking Greatblade, right? Harking Greatblade does the same exact thing on her A3. Attacks one enemy, applies a debuff spread, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. Also extends the duration of those debuffs by 2 turns. Will not extend duration of debuffs on the initial target. So the only worry you would have on that is if, you know, you run or your opponent runs a, what's it called? If they run a Swift Parry set. Wow. It's been Swift Parry's out of the meta so long, and it takes some time to remember. I mean, we are running on like 40-something sets almost right now. But anyways, we'll get back into... we do have her running in a double speed set, right? Because we do need her speed tuned with our Astrolith. And so we actually have her built in more of a damage build. So she's sitting at 44k HP, 4.3k defense, 292 speed, 100 crit rate, and 235 crit damage. Now, the reason you want her built as a damage dealer is because you want to make sure that she is going to be able to take down whatever enemy is left over just in case, like a Mortu or something like that, that just needs to get cleaned up, right? Because it does happen from time to time. And for skills, we do have her fully booked. You actually don't need her fully booked. I do want to say that accuracy is not needed for this. It's only needed to apply her debuffs and spread her debuffs. You actually don't want her doing that whatsoever in this kind of comp. You want her just to have no accuracy. Unfortunately, on my build, to get to that speed, a lot of the pieces I had were with accuracy. So avoid accuracy. You can see my banner here has 96 accuracy. If I could take it off and get another speed banner that had that much speed, I would do so. But unfortunately, I don't. Masteries, we did go all the way down to War Master. Do not take the support tree unless you're going to go more of like an HP route, but avoid anything that has accuracy. So, the second Tuhana Rock is built the same exact way, right? She's fully booked. She doesn't have a blessing, but she herself is also sitting at 297 speed, 100%, 104% crit rate, 210 crit damage. You can see the speed here is a lot lower. So we did give him a little bit of HP on both of them just to be able to survive in case we do take a hit, right? Masteries, these masteries aren't done. Like I said, you don't really need masteries. If you really don't want to get the masteries, you don't need them. And then the second champion in the turn order is going to be Astrolith. And Astrolith is unique because her A2, right, is unresistible. So we have her built in 7k attack, 304 speed, 39 crit rate, 130 crit damage. Make sure you do not build her with any sort of damage. You really just want to focus on attack and speed. No accuracy, no crit rate, nothing else, just attack and speed. So gloves, you want to go attack. Chest, you want to go attack. Boots, unless, once it's speed tuned to a specific comp, you want to go attack, right? Neck piece, one of those rare occasions where you actually want attack over crit damage or defense or HP. Ring, attack with as much attack percentage as you can. And the amulet, you want to go attack with as much speed and attack percentage as you can. So, and then as for the top row, really just focus speed and attack. That's it. As for skills, you don't need her booked, right? You don't need her booked. You actually prefer her not to be booked because she does more damage, and if she pops Resurgence, then you end up losing a lot of you end up losing some of the bombs down the line. And again, with masteries, we do not have it booked. So the only champion that's necessarily needed for this comp, I would say, is Astrolith, right? Because again, she provides you the best bomb without having any other circumstances for it, right? Like if you took Lord Cesar, he's going to need crit rate, right? He's going to need accuracy. He's going to need the speed. If you took Nishak, he's going to need the same thing. He's going to need accuracy. He's going to need speed. He's going to need attack. Astrolith is actually one of the ones that requires the least amount of stats to be able to make this comp work. Now, for replacements for Arbiter, the only other one that I could come to mind that I've used in the past successfully for a team like this is actually Yoshi. And I used him with my Yumiko, right? And I used him with the two Hanorok. At that point, it was just a single bomb spread team. It wasn't a double, but I was able to lock out any champion, even the Mithralas, even the Pythons, anything out there. I was able to do it, but with the teams were taking me a lot longer to deal with. Ideally, if I could get my Astrolith closer to like 8,000-9,000 K attack, it'd be better, but yeah. So you could definitely use Yoshi. You could definitely, instead of bringing in the double two Hanoroks, you could bring the 1/2 Hanorok and use in a lockout champion. I do not suggest bringing in a Warlord, right, as he will deplete the turn meters unless everybody is in Stone Skin, then you're fine. I would probably suggest actually bringing a Basher, which is an epic. So I feel like he would probably be a little bit better than Warlord in a comp design like this. And then again, you could use Harkin, you can use Vizier for the Hanorok, right? And just the last thing before I let you guys go is going to be careful on the teams you pick, right? When you're hitting with bombs, you want to hit into Stone Skin. You don't want to hit into a Kymar. Even if he is Stone Skin, you don't want to hit into a Kymar. You want to hit into either a neutral or positive affinity, because Astrolith can still weak hit and then only land one bomb or land no bombs. And then that's when the comp dies. So takeaways from this is Astrolith's probably the #1 champion needed for this comp. The substitutions for 2 Hanorok are going to be Vizier, are going to be Harkin Greatblade, and then the substitution for Arbiter is going to be preferably, again, Yoshi, because he brings the increased accuracy. And not, well, if Yoshi would be great if you put him with the Yumiko. Let me rephrase that. Because he brings the increased accuracy, and then you just want to make sure that the 2 Hanoroks or any debuff spread champion is built with no accuracy. And then, yeah, that's it, guys. So, you know, I hope it helped you. I hope it encourages you to push Plat. If you currently are looking for a clan that is pushing Plat and want to learn more about pushing Plat, maybe seeing what kind of comps you have in your arsenal, in the description below, we do have the Discord for Sacred Pandas. Come in, join us, you know, pick our brains, talk about it, see if, you know, we're a fit for you and you want to learn how to become part of the cluster and, you know, start pushing Plat. I'm not going to lie, it is lots of fun, but it is a little bit of a time sink. So that's it, guys. As always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.